Drifting above the American West, the continent appears solid, permanent, and utterly still. But if you know where to look, the land reveals a violent secret. See this sweeping curve? This massive, flat depression cutting clearly through the granite peaks? Today, it is a patchwork of potato farms and quiet, golden wheat fields. But strip away the vegetation, and the truth of this valley is unveiled. This is not a valley carved by water. It is a scar burned by fire. We are standing on a conveyor belt, sliding slowly over a stationary furnace. For 16 million years, this furnace has been decapitating mountains and consuming the crust. It marched across Idaho, blast by blast, until it arrived at its current home, Yellowstone. The park we cherish today is merely the current resting place of a wandering monster. To understand the danger of the present, we must walk the trail of the past. Let us turn back the clock, 16 million years, to the birth of the Hotspot. The Miocene epoch, the border of Oregon and Nevada, a rugged, unbroken wilderness. Deep beneath the feet of ancient beasts, a plume of superheated rock is rising. Pressure builds, the crust swells upward, cracking like a pane of glass under stress. And then, the crust fails. The debut of the Yellowstone hotspot is an apocalypse. The McDermott caldera is born, a wound in the earth that bleeds liquid fire. Imagine the North American continent is a sheet of paper sliding over a candle flame. As the continent drifts southwest, the stationary flame burns a line straight across the land. This is not the runny red lava of Hawaii. This is rhyolite, thick, sticky, and explosive. It acts as a geologic eraser. Majestic mountain ranges are swallowed whole, leaving only flat plains. By 12 million years ago, the hotspot has crossed into what is now Idaho. It brings a rain of gray death. Ash falls so thick it chokes the rivers. Super eruptions occur every few million years, blasts thousands of times stronger than St. Helens. The sky turns black. Global temperatures plummet. The hotspot is not just a local event. It is a planetary engine of change, and it is relentless, moving east at 1 inch per year. The heat weakens the crust, stretching it apart until the mountains simply slide away. But destruction brings creation. The depression fills with water, creating ancient, thundering rivers. Fire meets water. Lava dams the rivers, creating temporary lakes that eventually burst. The landscape is scoured by catastrophic floods, carving the canyon deeper into the black rock. Layer upon layer, a geologic cake made of ash, lava, and sediment. The heat creates obsidian, black volcanic glass that will one day arm the first humans here. 10 million years ago, the hotspot centers near Twin Falls. The land is tortured. The scar grows longer. The plate continues its slow, steady drift to the southwest. The ground here remains hot long after the main eruptions cease. As the magma chamber moves on, the cooling rock contracts and the ground sinks. This sinking creates a channel for the atmosphere, guiding storms across the new lowlands. Life here is impossible for long. Just as plants return, the ash falls again. A moonscape on Earth, barren, sharp, unforgiving to anything with soft skin. The route of this fire goes down 1,800 miles to the core mantle boundary. 6 million years ago, the Haisa volcanic field. The violence escalates. Eruptions here bury half the continent in dust. The sun is blotted out for years. Creatures 1,000 miles away inhale the glass shards and suffocate. When the air clears, the mountains are gone. Only the flat, gray plain remains. And the monster looks east, towards the Teton Range, towards Wyoming. 3 million years ago, the hotspot has moved east. Life rushes back into the cooling void. Here, the Hagerman horse, ancestor of the zebra, grazes in a wet, grassy paradise. Short-legged rhinos wallow in the mud. The heat of the earth keeps the winters mild. Predators stalk the reeds. It is a golden age, a Serengeti in North America. But the peace is an illusion. The ground beneath them is ticking. Ash returns. A gray blizzard that coats the grass, grinding down the teeth of the grazers. Bones pile up. The fossil beds of Idaho are a graveyard of sudden, violent burials. As the mountains to the west rise, they block the rain. The paradise dries up. The ice ages begin. The rhinos vanish. Mammoths arrive to walk the frozen lava fields. The war between fire and water continues. Lava dams the river. Floods break the dams. For a time, a massive lake covers the scar. Lake Idaho, deep, cold, and silent. Then, the water escapes. It carves Hell's Canyon, the deepest gorge on the continent. The water drains away. The modern, arid face of the Snake River Plain is revealed. But the fire has moved on. It is now crossing the border into Wyoming. 2.1 million years ago, the hotspot arrives at the foot of the Grand Tetons. Before the park, there was a mountain range here. And then, the Huckleberry Ridge eruption. The magma chamber is so large, it lifts the entire landscape before it blows. The ground unzips. A curtain of fire 50 miles long tears the sky apart. It is one of the largest explosions in the history of the planet. 2,500 cubic kilometers of rock are pulverized into dust and thrown into the stratosphere. The chamber empties. The roof collapses. The mountains fall into the fiery void. Everything is buried in welded tuff, hot ash that melts back into solid rock. Time passes. The wound tries to heal. The forest creeps back. 1.3 million years ago, Mesa falls. The monster wakes up again. Another cycle of destruction. 640,000 years ago, the Lava Creek eruption. The blast that shaped the park we know. Ash from this blast is found as far away as Louisiana and California. Volcanic winter ensues. The human species, still young in Africa, feels the chill. Look at the map today. The park is not a volcano. The park is the volcano. The heat is barely contained. The magma chamber is only a few miles down. It paints the surface with bacteria and steam, beauty born from a sleeping bomb. We watch the geysers like a show. We forget what powers them. A reservoir of crystal mush, 40 miles wide, waiting for the next trigger. The ground breathes, it rises and falls. Thousands of earthquakes every year. The resurgent domes are lifting. The beast is merely napping, not dead. The trail behind it is cold, but the head of the snake is alive. And the continent keeps moving, sliding slowly, inevitably, to the southwest. In a few million years, Yellowstone will be dead rock. The fire will move to Montana. But for now, we drive across the scar. We farm the ash. And this brings us to the strange legacy of the supervolcano. The destruction created a gift, the Snake River Aquifer. The fractured lava rock acts like a massive sponge, holding an underground ocean. Water that sinks in the Teton Mountains travels underground for a century to burst out here. It transforms a high desert into a food basket, life feeding on the memory of death. We visit the craters of the moon to see the aftermath, a frozen violence. The Snake River Plain is a monument to the power of the deep earth. The soil here is thin. Farmers plow a delicate skin resting on a skeleton of iron. We build bridges across the cracks. We span the voids left by the collapsing crust. Shoshone Falls. A wall of water crashing over the rim of an ancient lava dam. To the south, the city of rocks, the granite ribs of the earth, exposed by erosion. Interstate 15 runs north. It follows the path of least resistance carved by the fire. The land was so desolate, we chose it for our most dangerous experiments. Here, on the cooled ashes of a supervolcano, humanity first generated atomic power. We split the atom on the surface, while the Earth splits the crust beneath us. Look at these boulders, the melon gravel, debris rolled by floods the size of oceans. We build our homes in the shadow of faults that are merely sleeping. In 1983, Bora Peak jumped 7 feet in seconds. The basin and range is still stretching. The sunsets here are violent and beautiful, colored by the dust of a restless earth. Under the Milky Way, the lava fields look like the surface of another planet. We tap the heat. We turn the monster's breath into electricity to light our cities. The river is the lifeblood. Without it, this track would be as dead as Mars. The depression acts as a funnel. It guides the weather, pulling storms from the Pacific. From the peaks of Sun Valley, you look down into the path of the ancient flame. Bruneau Canyon, a crack so narrow and deep, the sun barely touches the bottom. We dig for clues. Every layer of ash tells a story of a day the sun died. And at the end of the trail, the wolves run across the roof of the volcano. But the lava did not just shape the land, it shaped us. Wilson Butte Cave. Deep inside a volcanic blister, we found the oldest evidence of humans in North America. The Hotspot created obsidian, volcanic glass sharper than surgical steel, arming the first hunters. This glass was so valuable, it was traded across the continent, from the Rockies to the Ohio River. Thousands of years later, the Oregon Trail followed the path of the fire. Pioneers cursed this heat. They struggled over the jagged devil's backbone of cooled lava flows. The sharp basalt shredded their boots and shattered their wheels. The volcano fought them every step. Today, our cities align perfectly along the arc of the ancient eruptions. We settle here for the water that flows where the lava once ruled. But the monster's reach extends even further north. Look at the Columbia River Gorge. Before the hotspot focused on Yellowstone, it cracked the crust to the north. The Columbia River basalts, a flood of lava so vast it buried the Pacific Northwest in rock 2 miles deep. Yellowstone explodes, but the Columbia event was a leak that wouldn't stop for millennia. It flowed all the way to the ocean. The famous sea stacks of Oregon are tombstones of this event. What does the future hold? It is not just the super eruption we must fear. Steam explosions happen without warning. They can hurl rocks the size of cars instantly. The chamber is mostly solid mush right now. It needs to melt more before it can blow. But the heat is constant. The batch of magma is slowly reheating, century by century. Eventually, the hotspot will undermine the Teton Fault. The mountains may collapse. The bullseye is moving towards Montana. The high plains will be the next victim. A super eruption today would not just kill. It would bury the grain belt and darken the grid. We study the past to predict the future. The geologic clock is ticking. From the Oregon border to the Wyoming plateau, one continuous burn. A landscape of violent contrasts: black rock, green fields, blue water, red fire. Stand in the lava fields at night. The silence is heavy. It is the silence of a held breath. The Snake River Plain is not empty space. It is the signature of our planet's engine. We think the Earth is finished, static, a stage for our history. But the Earth is still making itself. It is still deciding the shape of the map. The water returns to the fire. The cycle resets. Yellowstone, the golden stone, the crown jewel of the hotspot. Life endures here not in spite of the danger, but because of the heat. The continent drifts on. The fire waits. And somewhere deep below, the clock is resetting.